Welcome to another match preview as Forest take on West Ham in what is feeling like a huge game for Forest and maybe for West Ham with all that's going on there. And I got our good mate Nicky from West Ham TV. Guys, the link is pinned in the chat. You know West Ham TV. We got Jason Beat the Drop. We have Lawless on here. And now we've got the godfather of the channel. How are you, Nicky?
I've been better. I've been
Yeah?
better. That's for sure. Yeah, yeah. We've had a tough couple of weeks, mate. So yeah, I've been better.
We'll start there, right? Because I know you're getting so much slack for your position on Moyes, and I'm sure you're sick of the discussion and sick of people saying he's won you that, that Euro, what was it? Euro
The
Conference Cup.
Yeah.
You're eighth currently. You've had Europe in the last 3 seasons. So why are these West Ham fans so disappointed? Now, I get it, but what is it like from your point of view? You must be sick to the back teeth of having to defend your position on it, mate.
Do you know what? No, look, Wolfie, I respect opinions, mate. You know what I mean? I respect opinion, and that's what my channel's all about. It's about opinion and differences of opinion, and being able to give them opinions a platform. So I'm not sick to death of it. That's the wrong position to be in.
Yeah.
I'm not sick to death of hearing different opinions about it, because I love different opinions. It's what the opinion does to the fan base. It divides it.
Mm.
It becomes very toxic. It becomes very much the focus of everything that's going on. And there are people that will stand by their opinion even when they're proven wrong.
Yeah.
And I've never been one of them. I'm one that I will praise when praise is needed. I will criticize when criticism is needed. But you can't be blind to what's going on. You can't be blind. I was looking into the state of West Ham at the moment, and it's okay now, right this second. But when you look into the squad and what we have, what could leave, and the position that David Moyes has put himself in, there is no longevity in that squad. And I feel like the squad's starting to lose a bit of legs now. Very, very small squad, made smaller by the transfer window, aging squad. There's nobody. I think I counted one player that was bought in that's the right side of 25. Most of them are 28 to 30. I think it's the second oldest squad in the Premier League. There is no longevity in that. And when life comes at you pretty fast in terms of in the football world, and once that that rot starts to set in and that decline starts, there isn't much sort of play with being mid-table or being in European contention and being relegation fodder. And I think that's the position that he's left us in. We haven't built for the future. Moyes is very much a man for the present, but the present isn't forever. The future has to be thought about. And when I'm thinking about Emerson's 29, Zuma's 29, Souček's 29, Soufal's 31. Everybody that is worth a rub in the squad at the moment, even the ones in these, they're pushing 30, all of them.
Antonio as well,
yeah. And I think when you look at, what happened on Saturday and dissect it, Sunday, against Arsenal, we've got no legs. We've got no legs, and although I'm never saying defeat to Arsenal is not inevitable. Arsenal are a very good side, and they played very well on the day. But in the end, we were chasing shadows, and it doesn't bode well for the future. That's what I would say.
Is the fight missing from the team, and are they really playing for him? Because I was watching that Arsenal game, and I was just like, this isn't the West Ham I've known growing up. Yeah, you've always been, an underdog, but one thing you've always had is a bit of fight about you, a bit of team spirit. And for me, that's the thing that seems lost. And I don't know if it's the players' fault or is it the fact that Moyes just doesn't install that into them and they're not buying into his philosophy potentially.
I think it's something that's been bred by complacency, and what I mean by that is that Moyes traditionally likes to use the same 11, and this is a reason why this has got to stop right now. Traditionally likes to use the same 11. He's trimmed the options so far, even by that transfer window, four out, none in. Even those that they wasn't first teamers, they wasn't in his plans, and he sucks the competition out the side by just playing the same 11 regardless. There is no emphasis or what's the word? There's no sort of carrot being dangled in front of these players that are on the outskirts. Play well and you play well next week. It isn't like that with him, and it eventually just drives players out the door. I think by getting rid of them options, he's got no competition. There's no competition there. The players that are playing, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't turn around and go, well, let's say, for instance, Bowen could play 1 week, but if so-and-so has a good game, there is no competition.
Yeah.
There's none. He's driving it all and out. And they're safe. They're not going to get relegated, just about. I mean, fuck me. If we carry on playing the way we are, we might get dragged into it again. But, I just don't think there's any desire. And I think that there's a couple of players, and there's rumours flying around now that a couple of players want out. And, our flair players. And if you think about that, and there's not harmony amongst the squad in terms of like what the future is and where it's going. I don't think there's any reason to keep him. You need to go in a different direction. You need to, otherwise, if you keep him going in the same direction, eventually you're going to hit a roadblock and it's going to come to an end.
Yeah,
it's we're getting to there. So,
well, what you said there about the lack of competition for places, I find quite interesting, because the one that's baffling me, and I know a lot of West Ham fans I speak to are absolutely flabbergasted by it, is Johnson. Now, nothing against Johnson, but he's not a left winger. Why the hell are the likes of Cornet, who has, there is a player in him. I know he hasn't been great at you. I know he had a big injury last season. But is that kind of what you're alluding to, that he's kind of just decided, right, Johnson's now this new left winger, screw Cornet. Cornet, there's no point in you even trying to perform in training and trying to win a place back, even though that's your natural position. Is that what's going on in that position? It's baffling me from an outsider looking in. So it must be frustrating from your point of view, mate.
I don't think there's an answer. He wants to play Paqueta there. That's it. Paqueta's out. That's where Paqueta's been playing. He likes Paqueta, and it just seems like he cannot divert from that plan. And there's no thought about, well, what happens if he isn't available? He shoves players. I mean, we've seen Ward-Prowse out there. We've seen, Johnson out there to very little effect. And the likes of Cornet must be sitting on the bench scratching their heads. Danny Ings is another one. Look, I'm not a massive Danny Ings fan, but he played against Sheffield United, played really well. Probably the best game that he's ever had. For West Ham, apart from the Forest game a couple of years ago. But in terms of he's really struggled to settle himself in. No, he's not really well thought of. He's not going to get in the first team. He has a good game. And for some reason, with no striker, he's just dropped straight to the bench. It makes absolutely no sense. As soon as, Cornet a couple of weeks ago scored at, where was it? Was it Sheffield United? Was it Burnley? Bournemouth? Yeah, somewhere. He scored a goal somewhere away from home, and he hasn't played since. It makes absolutely no sense. He does not allow confidence to breathe. As soon as somebody gets a little bit of confidence that isn't in his first 11, as soon as he gets a chance, he drags it away from him. And I don't understand it. I don't know whether it's personal with him. I'm not sure whether it's just the way he operates and it's an old school mentality. But there's one thing for sure: when it comes to sort of using squad depth and using fringe, it doesn't work these days. It's not going to work with a modern day footballer. And I think you've got to look at, these players are not, they haven't cost us pennies either. Cornet was 30 million quid. That's 30 million quid that a club like West Ham can't really afford to spend on someone that they don't want to use. Ings was 20 million quid. There's 50 million pounds worth of talent there. Well, I say talent lightly, but it's 50 million pounds worth of player there that he's got no plans. That isn't the only one. Haller we signed for 50 million quid, let for go for 25 million because he had the same. Felipe Anderson bought for 40 million, let him go for 2.
He went for
Scamacca,
2.
2 million. £2 million, yeah.
He was hot at West Ham, man. He was good, yeah.
He was good at the start, but as soon as
Faded off, yeah, but
it just didn't fit. Scamacca we bought for £40 million, let him go for 25. You can't keep on doing this. We can't keep on afford to losing players that could be the future. I mean, Haller has had a stellar career since he's left West Ham.
Yeah.
A stellar career. He's now playing for Borussia Dortmund. Just scored the winner in the African Nation Cup final.
Yeah.
Still around 27 years old. Good for the future. What we got? Antonio, 34, waiting to come back from injury, and that's all he's waiting for. He does not know how to manage a squad. He doesn't know how to play different ways and play to people's strengths and utilize the tools that you've got. He's like me on the old Sensible World of Soccer, mate. You stick someone in and just keep on pressing the button until the one that you want comes back. That's what it is.
Sensible Soccer, mate. Showing you your years there, man.
I've got grey on my beard, man. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
But listen, talking of the positives, but in a way, I kind of feel it's a bit of a negative. Kudos has been sensational for you guys this season. I don't even know if you'll be able to keep him in the summer. He's been that good, I think, and obviously Paqueta or Paqueta or however the proper way of pronouncing it is, but he's out injured. With Kudos though, I feel it's making you a bit lopsided, where it's like almost like Moyes is saying, right, let's just ignore the left side completely, give that ball. We had this with Johnson last year on the right hand side. And it's almost like you're a bit predictable. If players were to double up, or the opposition managers double up on the opposition's left side, your right side, do you feel that kind of annuls your actual strengths in attack? Because you've been struggling to score recently, haven't you?
Of course, once you get the Premier League is it's a fast moving league, and you get worked out pretty easily. Something that's working 1 week is not going to work forever. We found that out, and he's left a huge gap on the left. There's nothing on the left. You see it last week. Ben White, when you look back at the Arsenal game, was basically told to abandon his position because there's no threat there. No, it was. You could see it. You could see Arteta telling him, like, basically, it's, when Ben White's dropping in, when they're joining the attack, Arteta was on the sidelines going, just push, mate, because there's not. There's nothing coming from there. Even if they get it out there, they haven't got the talent or the tools to to get anything out of that. Leave the the attacking's all on the right side. Just leave your position and invert. Overflood the midfield. Join the attack. It becomes very predictable. It becomes very predictable, and you need to divert and find new ways. You can't have one weapon in your arsenal and expect it to work every time, because eventually someone's going to come up with a shield for that, and then you got to get to you got to pull the next weapon out. That's what Moyes can't do. He's very, very much one dimensional in terms of his attack. Listen, I think our position is a bit of a false position. I really do. We've played decent at times this season, but I think we've relied for individual brilliance. And got wins that we really didn't deserve. I don't think the Forest win was deserved. I think we should have lost that game. I think the Bournemouth game last week, when we drew, I think we was very lucky to come away with a draw there. I think we should have got beat. It's we are teetering with the possibility of letting all the good work slip because of our because of our reluctance to pull the trigger or strike while the iron's hot. You don't get many chances in this game to to progress, especially with the the top six, and you have to take that and make the right calls at the right times. And again, I think we're just going to let this one slip through our fingers and slip back into mid-table or below that mediocrity.
Yeah, it's something I can relate to, Nicky. Like when I'm hearing you defend your position on your channel, DR Sports, etc., I'm like, I get it completely, because I had the same thing with Steve Cooper. Now, Steve Cooper is held probably in higher regards at Forest than Moyes is at West Ham. but I could see how he was playing. You know, every game we played against him, whoever I was speaking to in the opposite side of the fence would be like, "You're the worst team we've seen play." I remember you lot were bantering us last season when you smashed us 4-0. Because again, Moyes was on the cusp of going before that game. There was rumors that, you know, he had to save his game, and we rolled in and saved him for you. So you're welcome, you know. But I could see it happening. And at the end of the day, you got to take sentimentality out of it. It's exactly like you said. You got to look ahead to the longer project and kind of see where things are. So I'm with you, Nicky. You got my backing on what you're saying. I think you talk a lot of sense when you're saying it, bud. But looking ahead to this game, because what I'm liking, and I'm sure the viewers are watching, if you're liking the doom and gloom from Nicky's side, make sure you've hit that like and subscribe to both channels if you're new. What are you thinking for this game? Because I sat there watching the Arsenal game and I was like, for fuck's sake, man, stop scoring. I'd have been happy with like a 2-0 loss for you, just something that would go under the radar. And it just feels like this whole week everyone's been talking about 6-0. Oh, look at West Ham getting smashed, etc. Are you hopeful there will be a reaction, or do you believe enough in the players and the manager to expect a reaction out of this? Because you've done it before. You've had a bad defeat and then come out and kind of put a performance. Is that what you're holding on to?
I mean, we have to, but you know, you get to the point where I can't see it. I'll be honest, I can't see it. You know, I don't think Forest have been playing bad football. I think they've been very unlucky in the last few weeks. I watched the Arsenal game. I thought they was quite unlucky there. You know, I watched a few games of Forest actually.
Got screwed at Newcastle. Should have been a penalty.
Yeah, it should have been a penalty at Newcastle. You know, they're scoring goals and all that. And I think that Nuno's going to be looking at that and thinking, well, this is a real time to kick them while they're down. You know, smell the blood. You know, become sharp. Like, because at the end of the day, this is the fucking business end of the season. You know, and I think your manager and your players are going to. Feel the need to take advantage of these situations more than ours. I think ours are pretty content with what they're doing and where they are at the moment. You know, I don't think there's a lot of desire to get back to winning ways. Obviously, the manager's going to want to, because his job's on the line. You know, he's got a contract at the end of the season to think about. But at this stage of the season, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether we've got it in us, because, you know, that was a bad defeat. You know, it was a bad defeat the week before. We have no wins in 2024. I think Forest are going to be looking at this thinking this is a fucking real opportunity to fucking stick the boot in, you know, and do ourselves a favour. So I'm not expecting any favours, you know, but it's down to the players. You know, we have got the players. We have got them in the right frame of mind, and on the right day, and in the right circumstance. I just haven't got the confidence that it's going to be instilled in them that this is the day. You know, I think they go to Forest. I think they fucking lose. That's the truth.
How do you not feel about that one? But looking at the Forest team, Nicky, as you said, you know, we've been playing quite well. We've been really unlucky with certain things that's happened on the pitch. You could call it excuses, you could call it whatever. But who's the players that stick out for you? And let me get some start with Morgan. Elanga, okay, good start. Most people start with Morgan Gibbs-White, but I like it.
No, Morgan Gibbs-White was my next. Yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White is something else. I like Morgan Gibbs, but I think Elanga's been good. I really enjoyed him playing.
You know, don't start chucking names at me, Nicky, man. You know, don't go overboard here.
I haven't been really taking any notice. I've been, but yeah, off the top of my head, Elanga and Gibbs-White, I think, are the two that really impressed me. There is one other, but I can't think of his name for the fucking life of me in a minute. But
Murillo, the defender.
No, Brazilian. No, it wasn't the defender. It was an attacking player.
Taiwo Awoniyi.
No.
Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Odoi,
yeah.
Yeah,
because that's the last one I had to offer you, man. We're out of attackers.
Yeah, it is Odoi, yeah. But yeah, to be honest with you, as I say before, like, I watch these games with I don't take much notice of what's going on. I just, I like what I see. I don't, people could say to me like, oh, well, he isn't one of our best attackers. So-and-so's got more stats, but I'm not going to fucking know the stats. I just know what I like, what's pleasing on my eye.
Yeah.
I'm too interested looking at West Ham's downfalls and looking at everyone else's upturns. So, yeah, I like Elanga though. Elanga's really impressed me.
Yeah, I was surprised Man U let him go for so cheap, 15 million. Good deal, you know.
That's a
It would
club
have
that
worked well
don't
at
really
West
know where
Ham.
the fuck you know, where they're going at the moment. You know, they've got their own problems. So
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. All right, so let's get into some predictions here, mate, because your depression is kind of giving me a little more I've got to say, I'm not as cocky as I normally would be with you lot because,
I've noticed that, you know.
yeah, you know what it is? We're at the business end of the season. We got this FFPBS, sorry, PSRBS over our heads. And we just need a win, man. We just need a win. And I kind of, I, I don't want to be confident yet. I'll be taking the piss out of you afterwards if we win. I think I'll save it rather than go too early. Yeah. You lost to us
I've been
last
telling you
season.
to do that for a little while, Wolfie, man, and at least you're listening to me.
We beat you last year 1-0. You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
say you got unlucky or the penalty and what have you. I think tough luck. We needed that win as our first win back. Last two games you took us to the sword at yours 4-0, and then obviously the 3-2, which you know, Elanga did celebrate maybe a little too early, whipping his shirt off and his bra and all that. How do you see that? It was embarrassing, but it was funny. How do you see this one going tomorrow, mate?
I'm always honest, and I'm always honest. You know,
That you are.
I'll never divert from my true faults. You know, I'm not going to say it. Just, I think we lose tomorrow. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope I am, but I cannot see for the life of me my team coming back and having the desire to sort of like fight and grit it through without any surprises in the squad. So if there's a Paqueta or an Antonio back, could be different. I've heard that there isn't. So like, you know, I think, but honestly, I can't see us going away from home and winning the game tomorrow. I cannot see that at all. And I think Forest are going to smell blood. And I think Forest have got, you know, listen, I think Forest is a project that, you know, I think that the start of it was very much gung ho, but I think there is some shape taking there now, you know, and there is some thought about the signings. You know, it's not just about getting bodies through the door. You know, half cooked Premier League players. I think there is actually some thought going on there now, and Forest are improving. They're finding themselves in a tough position, but I think they've got the goal to get out of it. I really do, because I think there is some fault. There is some fault in management changes. You know, there's some. You know, some players that are really stepping up, some quality shining through. I think Forest win it 1-0.
You confusing me, man. Like, I love taking the piss out of you lot, but like, you just, I don't know if you're making me more nervous or less nervous by you saying we're gonna win, because Forest will do Forest things. You know, if you ever need a result, roll up Forest, and that happens.
Yeah, but we all think the same. I think the same about West Ham. You know, West Ham is, you know, if there's a player that hasn't scored for 200 years, step up West Ham. He'll slot two in. We've all got the same hang-ups, man. But honestly, I just, if I thought we was going to win, I'd say we was going to win. If I thought we was going to draw, I thought we was going to draw. I just can't see us. I just can't see it. I can't see us winning the game tomorrow.
Bloody hell. Guys, how do you feel about that? Does that fill you with more confidence or less confidence? Let us know in the comments down below. Nicky, mate, it's been a pleasure. I've kept you here for quite a while, but I always enjoy having a catch up with you. Nicky, you going to be at the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I will be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be there.
So if you guys are going and you see Nicky, make sure you go say hi to him, especially if it does turn out to be 1-0. And please make sure you subscribe to West Ham Fan TV. Show them some love. I know how much you guys love that channel, especially with Jace and Lawless and the rest of the boys on there. Nicky, best of luck after tomorrow, mate. And
thank you.
I look forward to hopefully sending you a few messages taking the piss afterwards. But make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.